Please subscribe, and you can download this code from description below. Title: Editing Database Records by Multiple Users, a comprehensive tutorial. Introduction. Editing database records by multiple users is a common requirement in many web and desktop applications. To implement this functionality efficiently and securely, you need to consider issues like data concurrency, access control, and user experience. In this tutorial, we will walk you through the process of editing database records by multiple users using a hypothetical task management system as an example. We will use Python and SQLite for our example, but the concepts are applicable to other programming languages and database systems as well. Prerequisites. Table of contents. Setting up the database. User authentication. Displaying and editing records. Concurrency control. Database update logic. Access control. Testing and deployment. 1. Setting up the database. 2. User authentication. Implement user authentication using a framework like Flask Login or Django Auth. Store user information securely and use session management to identify users. 3. Displaying and editing records. Build a web interface to display tasks for the authenticated user and allow editing. Use a web framework like Flask to simplify this step. 4. Concurrency control. Implement optimistic locking by adding a updated _ at timestamp or a version number to your database table. When editing a task, check if the record has been modified by another user since it was loaded. 5. Database update logic. Define SQL queries to update records in the database. Make sure to handle data validation and sanitization to prevent SQL injection attacks. 6. Access control. Define user roles, example admin, regular user, and permissions. Restrict access to tasks based on ownership or roles using access control lists, ACLS, or role-based access control, RBAC. 7. Testing and deployment. Test your application with multiple users to ensure that concurrency control and access control are working as expected. Deploy your application to a web server for production use, example using Flask deployment. Conclusion. Implementing the ability for multiple users to edit database records requires careful consideration of database design, user authentication, concurrency control, data validation, and access control. By following this tutorial and adapting the concepts to your specific programming language and database system, you can create a secure and efficient multi-user data editing system for your application. ChatGPT.